Millions of Americans are being crushed by credit card debt, and nobody out here is telling you how to get out of it. Credit card debt in America has hit a staggering $1.13 million. Let's take a look at the average credit card debt in America because this is very important to understand where I'm coming from. Now, the numbers that you're looking at are based on Q3 of 2023, and they've most likely risen by now. But Gen Z Americans are from 18 to 26 are carrying an average of $3,200 of credit card debt. Millennials from 27 to 42 are carrying over $6,000 worth of credit card debt. Gen X from 43 to 58 are carrying over $9,000 worth of debt. Baby boomers are carrying $6,642,000 worth of credit card debt. So that's 59 to 77 years old. And then the silent generation of 78 plus is carrying over $3,000 of credit card debt. So every single group of age is actually carrying a decent amount of credit card debt. So on today's episode, I really want to focus on how to attack this credit card debt like nobody's ever showed you before. Everyone talks about velocity banking or the snowball method or the avalanche method, but nobody's teaching you a very vital part about getting out of credit card debt. We need to reduce the interest rate before we even start attacking the debt. So it's mind-blowing to me that all these financial gurus out there are like, yeah, just do this, do that, start chopping it down, start at the very lowest interest rate, lowest balance, and then attack that one and work your way up. But they're not telling you the most important part here. If we can reduce our utilization and raise our credit scores, we can find a better solution and lower that interest rate and then give you more flexibility with your money to pay off that debt even faster. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. There are a lot of people in the finance space that really don't understand credit. And credit utilization makes up 30% of your credit score, and then positive payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. So if we can target both of those categories, that's 65% of your credit score that we are going to take control of. But credit utilization is the balances that are owed, the balances on your credit cards that are being reported. That is what I call the #1 credit score killer, because as you actually increase your balances and that utilization starts to rise, your credit score starts to drop. And then what happens is your credit score drops and it leaves you with less options to get a balance transfer credit card or get a personal loan to consolidate. Your options become very slim and the bank doesn't even want to give you a loan, let alone right now exactly where the economy's at. Banks are looking at this type of debt and they do not want to lend out to people that have heavy credit card debt. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you 3 very important parts that you do not want to miss. Part 1, I'm going to teach you the fastest way to lower your utilization so you can raise your credit score and find better options. Part 2, I'm going to tell you the #1 option to help you get yourself out of debt. And part 3, I'm going to give you a second option to help you reduce that debt also. And then I'm giving you a 4th part that is the bonus part of this video. I've been working on a huge secret program that I want to tell you about, but you're gonna have to watch till the end. So let's get right into it. We got a lot to cover. One of the quickest ways to reduce your actual utilization, which is the balances that are owed on your credit report, is to have someone add you on as an authorized user to a credit card with a very high limit that can possibly offset your actual balances. That's gonna do 2 things to your actual credit reports. It's going to add age of credit, which could potentially give you a boost in your credit score. And then it's going to add to your actual available credit. Because if you add a 10,000, 20,000, I know that sounds pretty crazy, but there are people like myself that have these high limit credit cards. And then if you add somebody on it as an authorized user, it can change the actual credit profile of that person, lowering their utilization because now you have more available credit. If you do this with a friend or a family member, you could just simply tell them, listen, don't give me a credit card. I don't need the credit card. You keep it. I'm just going to use this so I can actually pay down my credit card debt and actually get my actual score up higher so I can move on to some potential lending to consolidate my credit card debt. And I'll be honest with you, the majority of your friends or family might agree to it or they may not. I don't know. But this is the #1 way to lower your actual credit usage by adding a large trade line to your credit profile. Now, I do not suggest that you pay for an actual trade line because that's the first thing people will say, well, where do we go buy one? No. Why would you spend that money on a trade line when you can put that towards your credit card debt? And you're gonna have to pay for it for every 30, 60, or 90 days. You're just adding more debt. We don't wanna do that. So stay away from paying anyone for a trade line. Now, our second option is actually a company called Stellarify. I've been working with Stellarify for over 2 years now. Yeah, I think it's actually been 2 years, yeah. So Stellarify is an amazing product because what it does is it takes your regular everyday bills like your Netflix, your Hulu, your internet, your utilities, and I think in some areas they can actually report rent also. It can give you up to a $25,000 trade line to your credit profile. And all you have to do is report your actual regular bills that you're scheduled to already pay for. This is the best part about it. So you're not having to do anything crazy. You're just going to add your regular everyday bills into your Stellarify account. It's gonna pay them, and then you're gonna pay them back. It's just really just that simple. So this is exactly how it works. You link a checking account to your actual Stellarify account, and then you add your monthly bills. Like I just said earlier, like your rent, your utilities, your streaming services, anything that you can put on auto payment, just about anything, you can use Stellarify. You can actually do child support too if you're someone out there that has to pay child support. I'm just telling you, it's possible. And then Stellarify pays your bill, you automatically pay us back, and we report your on-time payment to the major credit bureaus. Now, they do currently report to Experian and Equifax, and they are working on getting TransUnion back on track also. Now, there are 2 different plans that you can choose from. One that's $4.99 a month, and that one's going to report up to a $500 bill pay limit. Then you have the one that's $9.99 a month, and that's going to report up to a $25,000 bill pay limit. That is insane, I'm telling you. So remember, the key here is the more things that you can put on a recurring payment with Stellarify, the higher the line of credit that's going to report to your actual credit reports. And that's what we want, because if we can get a $20,000, $10,000, or $15,000 line of credit to report to your actual credit reports, then guess what? That's gonna lower our utilization. And then now our score is gonna rise back up, and then we move on to part number 2. So part 2, it's very important that we slash this interest rate as much as we possibly can. So currently you're probably looking at 19% interest all the way up to 29.99. I've seen credit cards all the way up to 36% interest. So we want to slash that and crush that interest rate as low as we possibly can. Step number 1, you can actually call your actual credit card company and ask them if they would be willing to actually lower your interest rates. Depending on the actual credit card company that you're talking to and your relationship, there's a huge chance they might do it. But our second option in part number 2 is going to be for us to get a personal loan. This is what I call true debt consolidation, because we're going to take all of our credit card debt, put it into one personal loan, get a lowered interest rate, and have one monthly payment. And then we put ourselves on a serious budget. But first, we have to find the actual bank that will give us a personal loan. If you're not banking with a major credit union, I'm not talking about the small little local credit unions, I'm talking about big major credit unions, then you are really missing out, because this is your secret weapon. Now we've raised our credit score back up. Now we need to qualify for a personal loan. You can use my list of my best credit unions, and I'm gonna spit them off for you real quick. Navy Federal, Andrews Federal Credit Union, NIH Federal Credit Union, Langley Federal Credit Union, NASA Federal Credit Union, DCU, Apple Federal Credit Union, Patelco Credit Union, Liberty Federal Credit Union, and Dover Federal Credit Union. These are at least 10 options that you can use to consolidate your credit card debt. But before you even apply with them, you need to establish a relationship with them. So while you're working with Stellarify and you're reporting your utilities and you've added that massive trade line, or you used an actual trade line from a friend or a family member, you need to start establishing a relationship with a credit union. You need to do this for a minimum of 6 to 8 months. And I know people are like, that's a long time, but yeah, we've reduced our actual credit card usage, right? Correct? And I'm sorry, not credit card usage, but credit card balances that are reporting. We've reduced that utilization to a minimal amount. So your credit score has risen, but you still have to actually establish this relationship. And this is the biggest mistake that people make, because these credit unions are still going to be able to see that debt. Unless you're able to get your credit score up above a 745 or 750, then it's not going to matter. And usually you can apply to one of these actual credit unions and get some type of approval within usually 60 to 90 days at max if you can get your credit score high enough. But to truly establish a relationship is going to be much more valuable for you because you'll have a higher chance of getting a higher limit on that actual personal loan that you're trying to get, and also lowering that interest rate as much as possible, because they may give you the personal loan after 60 or 90 days, but then the interest rate may not be the greatest. It's still going to be lower than those credit cards, but it's still not going to be the greatest that you possibly want, or maybe not enough money also could be the problem. Establishing a relationship is very simple. All you have to do is open up a checking and a savings, put as much money as you can into your savings. Every time you get paid, you put $1, $5, 20, whatever you can, and don't touch it, let it grow. And then do an actual direct deposit. Direct deposit is very key because they'll see those actual paychecks coming in, seeing that you're working. Or if you can't, just manually add them in. A lot of these actually offer digital services, so you can just take a picture of your check and then have it actually deposited that way. And then if you can, do a secured loan. The secured loan is the secret. Do it for a minimum of 24 months. And then once you set it up, they're gonna ask you to put it on auto payment. Do not put it on auto payment. Once the secured loan hits your credit report, then you're gonna pay off 80% of it. Then you're gonna call them and put the remaining 20% on auto payment for the next 24 months. Now, each credit union is going to have a different actual requirement of the monthly payment, so pay attention to that. Now, part 2, we're done with that. Now we're gonna move on to part number 3. This is your second option, is to get a balance transfer credit card. So what are the best balance transfer credit cards right now? Currently, I would strongly recommend anything with American Express because you're gonna have a lower barrier to entry. I know that sounds crazy. A lot of people say, oh, American Express credit cards are so hard to get. They're actually really not. So you want to be an actual entry level of a 660 to a 680 and above to get an entry level balance transfer credit card with American Express. So let me give you my top 3 American Express credit cards with the best balance transfer offer. So you're gonna have the American Express Blue Cash Everyday Card. Now this has a 0 annual fee. Now there's a bonus in there. We're not gonna focus on the bonuses right now. We wanna focus on no annual fee and the actual APR. So you're gonna get 0% introductory APR on purchases and balance transfers for 15 months from the date of account opening. So you're gonna have 15 months to pay off this credit card debt. Next up is the Blue Cash Preferred Card. Now this one comes with an introductory no annual fee, but after the first year, it's going to be $95 after. Now you're going to also get a 0% introductory APR on purchases and balance transfers. And that balance transfer offer is going to be good for 12 months. So you have 12 months to pay off that credit card debt. And the last card on the list is going to be the American Express Cash Magnet Card. That one is going to get you no annual fee and you'll have 0% APR on balance transfers for a maximum of 15 months. So you'll have 15 months to pay off that credit card debt. Now let's move on to part number 4. This is a huge secret program that I've been working on. I am one of the founders of Goalry, and Goalry has been in development for over 10 years now, and it's finally come to fruition. I've seen that there's a big issue in the finance space where we don't have a real solution for people to actually manage their finances. Goalry was developed actually like a mall, if any of you actually go to malls anymore, but there's 3 different levels to them, and each level has a different access to it. So on the first floor, you're gonna have the social community, and then on the second floor, you're gonna have the finance education, where I'm gonna actually continue to put customized videos in there talking about your finances, talk about credit, just about everything you can imagine. Kind of similar to here on YouTube, but you'll be in this community, and it's free to get into the community and free to actually see everything in there. Now on the third floor, you'll actually have the finance stores where for different types of products or different types of things you may need along in your life. But the goal here is to have everything to manage your financial health in one place. There's so much information inside of this app to help you grow in every aspect of your finances world. So you don't have to worry about maintaining different types of apps. You could do it all in the same place, and it's gonna keep you educated moving along inside of the actual app, which you can't find anywhere else. And we are going to continue to make sure that it grows, and we do different things exclusively for this community. Now, of course, if you do want to use it to manage all of your finances in one place, there is going to be a fee that is going to be $14.99 a month if you decide you want to move forward and use it. Or if not, you could just join the community and you can go in there and see my social network, and then you'll see all the things that as we start to add to it also. We covered a lot in this video. I hope you truly enjoyed this video because it's a lot about how to really crush your credit card debt. Now, I'm gonna drop all of the links in the video description, and I'm going to drop it in the comment section. I'm going to pin it at the very top for all of the things we talked about because we did cover a lot. Make sure that you watch the next video because it is about how to delete hard inquiries from your credit report. And if you felt that I brought you some value in this video, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score.